Triple KO!
What's up, dudes? Welcome back to Triple KO. Welcome to November. God.
November
so
already?
fast.
Yeah, 2023 was the absolute megalo-nuclear redemption of fighting games, it felt like, and it's almost over. So, it's a straight shot till Christmas now, nothing in between. And there's actually a whole bunch of stuff that's supposed to be happening, like those Street Fighter costumes, and Grand Blue, I think, might have just gotten delayed, so there's quite a bit of things.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. I think we might talk about that a bit more a bit later. The big topic of conversation is obvious that Tekken 8 is starting to ramp up its marketing blitz. And there's a whole bunch of characters and a whole bunch of stuff that's being announced for Tekken 8 through IGN almost exclusively.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, they're really pushing it.
There's
Yeah.
about to be a
Because
couple
IGN's
more, I think, like within a few
I think
days.
I heard 2 more characters are left that needs to be revealed. So it's a 30 character roster.
Oh, okay.
I hope at least another one is a new character.
Yeah,
just
a new one.
You know,
Yeah.
because we have Perfect Blend and that's it.
How
Yeah,
many
I
new
think that
characters do we have? Like
There's only
Azucena?
one new character in the roster so far, and it's just Azucena.
The Perfect Blend.
Perfect. Blend.
But she's so fucking cool now. Like her dance, like and everything. Like she is, and her secondary costume, where she's got like the gold jacket. She's wearing like black like tights. Like she looks awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
her secondary should be her main.
yeah, I want to see like a new male character and just to see what they do. Like and like something brand new we haven't seen before, like a fighting style and etc. But still, that IGN trailer was pretty sick. Regardless,
Did they announce Lucky Chloe by any chance? or
She
no?
is seemingly not making it. She's not in this one.
I'm sure
Alyssa
Kenny
made
will
it
be
into this one.
devastated.
Well, there ain't no Eddie either, so I don't think he's exactly thrilled.
Yeah, well, it balances him out. It gets him nice and smooth. Then, like,
Battle of the DLC. The best thing they can do is just the Capo DLC, and it's Eddie and
Christy.
Christy. I almost said Julia. Christy and stupid
Tiger.
cat chick.
Add Tiger.
Tiger. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
That's true. Tiger was actually a different character in some ways, I think, in some of the
little bit,
previous ones in
yeah.
Tag 2. Any of these, I think they showed 5 characters. I didn't get a chance to see the full trailer yet. I've been Halloweening and doing stuff with the baby. Alyssa was in there. The kind of surprising one was Steve Fox, which I guess not so surprising. He's been in every single thing.
Yeah, he's been pretty popular since his launch.
He's kind of good, sort of.
Kind of good. He can't go wrong.
And then there was also Lee, and
Lee
is looking like a robot. He's got
Yeah,
like some
he's on
G-Corp
like a-
G-Unit gear on or something.
Pacific
G-Unit?
Rim pilot type of thing going on. Like he's not in his little tux anymore.
But
Yeah.
more disturbing, he says marvelous instead of excellent, and I don't like that. That's
Oh, I'm
not
getting spoiled. Oh God,
strange.
that is not the Lee we know.
To be fair, it's like in battle, like he does a big move and he goes marvelous. Like, oh, okay, but you just say excellent when you win the match. That's all I'm asking.
Say
for.
excellent in broken
Yeah.
English now.
Yeah. Excellent.
Excellent.
I actually I'm pulling up the trailer because Zafina was in there too. I
Zafina.
remember
Yes.
some people being excited and or not excited about this after her relative dominance in Tekken 7.
Yeah,
But
Tekken
she
7.
back. She back. Oh, and Dragunov was announced before, right? We already knew Dragunov was in the
announced
game.
before.
Other new characters. Hold on a sec. I'm scrolling. Do we have any specific feelings on Alyssa, Chainsaw Arms?
I don't mind her. I don't
Listen,
mind her.
Alyssa
I
made it in
also-
Tekken 6, right?
Yeah, Tekken 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah, she debuted in Tekken 6.
Yeah, she was
Listen,
with Lars. That was like they were like best friends.
Yeah, I really, really hated her when she debuted. It's just like an annoying type cute character. Like there's cute characters and like I'm like, yeah, they're cool, they're fine. And then they dial it up. But now it's like she's been around so long that I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. It's a kooky character. And I think whenever these like sort of not Tekken-ish characters show up every so often, and then you think back in the day, oh well, there was Gon. There's boxing kangaroos.
There's
and
some
you're just trying to
goofy
put
shit in
yourself
Tekken.
exactly, and then you're like, it's fine overall. Just it'd be cool to see her like a violent Alyssa,
Oh, like she's unhinged or something broke.
dark
like she
Hado.
malfunctioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one.
Right?
Instead of
Exactly.
being in love with Lars, she wants to like kill him.
Yeah. If I can't have you, no one can.
Yes.
You know,
Actually, I love it. Let's just turn her into like crazy demon girl. I love it.
that'd be cool.
The final character, which I think is probably the most surprising, simply because it felt like we were already infusing another bitch with this bitch's shit, but we're not apparently, and it's Devil Jin. Devil Jin's back.
Yeah.
And he apparently
about that.
stopped by a Hugo Boss and bought a bunch of clothing. And he's like, I got to look good. I can't be wearing,
Right.
a bunch of handkerchiefs again. So, I can't get over his design. Like, he's dressed almost like Kazuya. He looks like he came straight from a J-Rock band, and he's wearing the black lipstick and everything, man. He's just ready to go.
This is one of the situations like, yeah, could you have gotten a brand new character in a slot instead there?
No.
No?
No.
They could
Apparently
have
not.
they could have done what they did with Kazuya, where he could just turn into the devil, like, and then
Yeah.
that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like, I wish Jin could do that.
I'm sort of surprised by all this just because it felt like that was the point of the story, that
Yeah.
Jin was getting unchained from the devil bullshit, and he was sort of getting, awakening and getting the abilities, able to control the devil gene. But no, this bitch is just around. He's like Kage. He's manifested himself into some weird ass form. He went shopping first. That's the most important. And then, is walking around downtown New York or some shit. He really looks
it's
wild
like
to me.
Hulk. Hulk
And
from the Marvel movies. Like, he just became smart Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just walk into any place and be like, "I'm Jin Kazama." Just charge it on my like whatever card. You already have my put it on my tab. Then real Jin looks at like his receipts. He's like, "What the fuck? I didn't spend all this money on all these clothes."
Devil
hell?
debt.
It's like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde version of Jin and Devil Jin.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we are 2 characters away. I mean, of all the characters that have been announced so far, are any of these in this 5 announcements really doing it for you all? I think I'm just morbidly curious about Devil Jin personally. How about you guys?
I'm happy about Steve being in there. I was was he semi-confirmed like a while ago, like a screenshot or something?
I
or
think
is this like
well, there's been some loose
There was
and
that
or
one
not
trailer.
loose things that have been around. So like even Devil Jin being like an actual pure surprise to the unknoweth. Devil Jin is kind of surprising, but there was some information in the betas that people might have taken a look at.
Wait, isn't Jun a new character in that she wasn't in Tekken 7? Was she in Tekken 7?
No, she was not in Tekken. She was not in Tekken 7.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
June has technically been around since Tag 2.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tekken
Yeah,
Tag 2
okay.
or like in story-wise Tekken 2.
And if we're talking about like June as like a character play style, I mean, she sort of shared that with like Asuka for a long time. And now they really went ham on her originality. If you didn't play a lot of the beta, like she's really like a new character. She does a lot
The
of new
first
things.
beta, she was really fun when I played as her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she has her own powers, like very angel-like, and takes health, uses health, and gets back health as well too.
She seemingly, like, without going through her move list, this is a character that can sacrifice like a bit of her own health to make things more safe. So because of that, it feels like you could just never punish her. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta lab some of these punishes, man. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So she just feels like she's losing her health, but man, I can never hit her. It's kind of weird. But yes, like the beta took place over the past weekend, I think is what it was, about a week ago. And you guys didn't get a chance to jump in, did you?
I think both Justin and I were out of town at the time.
Understandable. The all this shit's happening like at the same time, and even during that weekend, there was other huge games launching. So I actually played more of this beta than I did the previous one, and I tried to switch up my experience between PC and PlayStation just to see the differences. Crossplay, not crossplay, because if you guys or anybody hasn't played Tekken 7 in a while, I jumped back like a year ago to see how it is, and the netcode's like okay, right? It runs pretty decently for being delay-based netcode. And the problem is you need to have really good connections, and if there's anything below that, it sort of falls apart. But the PC version felt pretty good. PlayStation, not so much. Like, there's a lot of input delay on the PlayStation version. I will say that input delay issue feels about on par nowadays with the console and the PC version. So they're running Unreal 5.
Oh,
so it feels comparable, right? However, there is a lot of it. when I had some moments that was like a pure like whiplash, like, whoa, excuse me, where I was playing some people online and then it jumped me back into training mode and I tried to practice the things I was dropping and I was just like, oh my God, I'm playing a different game. Like you realize how much caked in input delay there was present in those previous matches to make it like, dude, why was I dropping the most simple combos? And you go back, you're like, oh, because there was like 7 or 8 frames, maybe to 10 frames in some situations. It's a lot. And that seemingly has been Bandai Namco's answer for netcode. Same thing for Smash Brothers, for Soul Calibur, for Tekken 7 to a degree, is to cake in more input delay to the whole engine. So I don't know how bad it is offline, but that was definitely like a cause for concern. And I'd argue the biggest cause for concern was noticeable frame drops on the PlayStation and PC version, where on my end, I'm super sensitive if it drops to like 55 or 45 or 50 or whatever. And most of the time it's fine. The game is saying it's running at 60. It's rendering 60 individual frames per second. But I'm like, dog, this shit is not running at 60, man. And I went back and I looked at my footage and it was running at like 37 every once in a while.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because Digital Foundry uses the meter that like shows the frame. They can have that, or they can have you, and I think you're just as good or as accurate as predicting those frame drops.
It was to me noticeable. I was like, at times I'm like, chat, this is not. It says 60 at the top left because it's the PC version. I'm like, this shit is not 60, bro. And like, I asked the person I was fighting against. I'm like, was that match like chugging for you too? We had a good connection. It was relatively fine. They're like, yeah, it was not running at 60 FPS. So something in between the online connectivity of the game and even offline is like doubling frames. So it leads to this really like rough feeling every once in a while when you're playing online, and even in training mode it was happening. And this was on the console version. And I was like, okay, yeah, there's definitely some funk happening here.
I mean, this would be really cause for concern if this was the beta that was like 2 weeks before the game's launch.
Sure.
But we're like 3-ish months. It comes out January 26th.
January 28th,
right?
26th or 28th, I think. Yeah, one of those days.
So there's time, but like still not a lot of time. You know, like
when I remember to close,
hopefully enough.
When I remember to close network test, I thought it wasn't bad. Like it was playable.
You know what? I feel actually better about my experience with the closed network test than I do with the beta test. It feels like something they touched around, some sort of parameter, something happened. And I have heard from a lot of people that their experiences have been great, but like I was playing all my matches that I was playing in this closed beta test online. It's in my archive, man. Like each of the games I was playing, I was noticeably like, dude, check out this delay. And I'd press the button and then it happens. And then, it would just be super stuttery every once in a while and like very rollbacky. So rollback's in there. We're not getting the full benefits of rollback netcode, which is lower input delay. We're not seemingly getting that because there still is a lot of caked in input delay. So I just have a lot of hopes, because the reason I'm complaining about this game is fun as shit. Game was super fun. I played like Lars, and then I finally played Jin. They made Jin a lot easier to use, just in general. It feels like some of the Mishimas just became a little bit easier. I mean, I don't know about Kazuya. I think he got nerfed quite a bit. But yeah, Jin's just he's got a lot of stuff that he can do now, and he seems quite good. I don't think he's going to be that good by the time he comes out. And Lars is just sort of like very tricky in this game. So I was having a great time, man. I was having a great time. Beta 2, though, I will say there is a clear and present difference between Beta 1 and Beta 2. I felt like the majority of my players I was fighting against were Tekken God Primes. Where I was like, holy...
so you were just playing pros, yeah.
Yeah, so like, what is Tekken? You essentially can knowledge check people to the point where you understand that, oh, my knowledge check doesn't work anymore, let me find something better. And that doesn't work anymore, let me find something better. And there's this nice little growth in Tekken to eventually get to like the good shit. So... I couldn't knowledge check people for shit, dude. And I'm playing Lars, who's kind of a tricky, not too played character from Tekken 7. Mother Fifers were like perfect micro ducking, launch punishing my ass from everything. I was like, God damn. So it was a rough experience, and it took me like a day or two to get acclimated to that, to start like learning against these dudes. But I heard from a lot of people that was the same thing for some reason. That beta 2, it felt like, oh yeah, we're getting people that, you know, new Tekken, everyone's having a great time and learning shit. Beta 2, it was like, oh, we're just playing Tekken 7 again. Oh fuck, like we're getting our asses kicked.
It was a really busy weekend because that weekend was also like TwitchCon, Singapore offline premiere. There was a lot of like just events happening around the whole entire world. So I think, like you were saying, it was just a really busy weekend. So like I think a lot of maybe people that would casually play, they probably were like, well, I need to do something else.
Yeah, maybe
pick a different game.
And the only big difference comparatively from the previous beta is that previous beta was fully playable for a lot of people. Like a lot, like apparently like 500,000 downloads, a lot of people. So, you know, there was, at least in my end, I was like, God damn, I can't knowledge check, bitch, for shit in this. I'm getting fucked up. So you have to I had to learn really fast what's actually good.
Did they have the Tekken Battle Hub thing?
Yes.
I was going to ask.
They did. And unfortunately, similar to a Street Fighter 6 situation, I was enjoying the combat mechanics of a fighting game so much that I didn't dick around with that shit at all. I just sort of hammered on just like ranked matches and got characters to the max rank, and that was it. And I really didn't mess around with the Battle Hub stuff at all. I just stuck myself in training mode, did this. I went into it once and walked around a little bit. And I fought I fought one person and the connection was awful. Like one of the worst ones I've had. And I found out that
that's sick.
They were like in Oceania or something like that. And I was like, holy goddamn, I am playing Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection online. Like it was really brutal. So that doesn't have any sort of like, because Tekken's a game where you have to get a good connection. It has no sort of matchmaking. People just come up to you and fight you, and their connections could either be Wi-Fi or not Wi-Fi or far away or on the moon or nobody cares. The game doesn't care. So the experience was just kind of like, yeah, I'll let the matchmaking at least try to get me somebody close to me, because without that, I don't know. I don't want to play it. I don't know. It's one of those games.
It seems like the more casual option. Like, here's a fun thing. Walk your avatar around, fight whoever. You know, I'd be weird if you told me, oh, it was a rock solid connection. It was amazing. When there's these types of modes, especially when a game is still not like released yet, I just feel like it goes hand in hand. Like, oh yeah, the connections are garbage because you're fighting whoever from around the world. It's not searching for the nearest person.
It
just works well. Like you're walking around your dumb avatar. It's like, oh, I can barely play the game.
And like even from the little bit that I did it have as much like charm or functionality as the obvious comparison, which is Street Fighter 6? No. Like the avatars look kind of goofy. There's
the little Facebook avatar.
It's the little like Mii's / Xbox Live 360 avatars.
Yeah.
They don't have that much customization really either, like face and body and stuff like that. Really nothing compared to like Freak Fighter 6. So it was okay. Like there was a lot of locations, but not like a ton of stuff to do. You just sit around, you know, and
it's an arcade.
That's it. Like, yeah. And then they go into the arcade area and they show little screenshots of like Tekken 3 on the CRT monitors and stuff. I'm like, that's cool, but
yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
like I don't think Tekken Ball was actually playable, much less some of those other like modes they were talking about. I don't think so, but I never even went to the beach area. I just didn't see anybody else playing it. So, I mean, it's fine. Again, I don't think it's like, this is what's going to sell Tekken 8, buddy. Let's go. No, like I think it's nice to have it. But is it like a huge aspect of the game? No, it's definitely nice to have like a functional lobby, because that's way more than Tekken has ever had.
Yeah.
So you're saying that they're not like pushing it like forward as like a main thing like Capcom did with the Battle Hub?
Yeah, like making you log into the Battle Hub. I think they're handling it similar to the release of Street Fighter 6, where it's completely optional. And that was the case in this beta, where you did not have to log into it. You could just go into training mode, or it actually select ranked match, and then it defaulted you to training mode, and it started searching. Yeah. So it's fine. Like I think a lot of it's nice to play people in ranked or player matches and have the game not friggin' tell you to get ready for the next battle every single time. That's for sure. So you just like your first to two set goes by pretty quick, and it's like, yeah, this feels about right. Like this is a perfect length, perfect time. On to the next person you get. Let's go. That is one thing that improved. from the network test or the beta test or the first one or the second, I had a lot of time in the first one where I wasn't fighting people, man, where I was just searching for a match.
Yeah,
and it was like 10 to 15 minutes of waiting for somebody to actually eventually populate. That didn't happen as much. I had like a couple minutes every once in a while, but it seemed to grab people faster. So there was improvements in some ways, but the overall quality of the connections was definitely a little iffy on my end. I really hope it improves because I love this game, man. It's really fun. Like I'm having a great time jumping back into some newer characters and older characters. So, and I'm kind of curious to see who else might be new that might fill out that roster in the end to actually try a brand new character again.
Yeah, like the first beta, like I really enjoyed playing it, but yeah, I was getting my shit rocked a lot because it, you know, I hadn't touched Tekken 7 in like months and months at that point.
Sure.
But I'm still kind of hoping like Lydia would be in there. It's like one of my favorite characters from Tekken 7, and I just have a feeling maybe DLC in the future. I don't see her making the roster. Just
Yeah, I don't
thought
see
she
her
was
making
just
a roster. Yeah.
cool karate girl, just simple to the point. But also the Prime Minister of Poland.
Yeah.
Still the best. Like you tell me any character is the of the.
Yeah.
Whatever country it is, I'm like, that's fighting games.
Yeah.
I love it. So
Yeah, she was definitely one of the cooler additions just in general, and she had like Baji-Kwan, like Akira fighting style, like Leo does.
Yeah.
So it all looks very neat when it lands and shit. So I don't know. I'm wondering if Lydia specifically isn't there because Lydia was more Akira-like than even Leo, and I'm wondering if maybe they're saving that for Akira down the line, because I wouldn't. The Harada Virtua Fighter, you know, in bed with each other thing has been happening for quite a few years now.
they definitely are. Like it wasn't even that long ago the Tekken costumes were in Virtua Fighter.
Not that long.
Ultimate Showdown.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's eventually a crossover in some way, but Tekken 8 beta was really dope. It needs work though. Like it definitely needs work. I think it's a game that will be very fun to play when it comes out. I didn't even mention the heat mechanics. They really toned down and worked around the heat mechanics. They work a lot better than they did before now, instead of being so insane.
You just don't get deleted now.
Not nearly as much. No, some of them are still clearly better than others. Like you get characters like Paul and Jack, and their heat is just wild 50-50s.
I saw Jack one.
Then you get like some of the early characters that were obviously at the beginning of development, like Jin and Kaz, and their heat is sort of like, oh, okay, that's sort of simple. It's not, it's okay, but it's not like ridiculous. Lars is the same way. He's like, yeah, it's okay. And other characters are just like, Jesus, get the hell away from me. So yeah. I think that's just part of it. You know, that's just part of like their balancing that's still working through, and it still needs to get balanced a little bit. So January's not that far away. It's really not.
That's not.
Speaking of balance, you know, we had a very hot topic of Mortal Kombat 1 that just happened with a nice old patch.
I definitely need the lowdown here because I did not get a chance to
pretty
check
much,
it out.
you know, if you've seen Twitter, everyone is like character / Cyrax, you know, Cyrax. Cyrax is the best character in the game. He's not even a character, he's just a cameo. But every character works amazing with Cyrax. He's like the equivalent of like Doctor Doom in like Marvel 3. That's what it comes down. It just makes every character that much better. So I think once after East Coast Throwdown happened, their first pro competition for Mortal Kombat 1, that's when literally Tuesday, he just got completely nerfed. There was a balance change for a lot of characters like damage nerfs and everything like that. But Cyrax got nerfed for sure with his cameo. So now more people are having to explore different cameos now, which makes sense. For sure.
I can summarize this whole patch for you, Matt. You know how so the game's here, and we were hoping that they were going to be like, oh, so other cameos clearly aren't better than other ones, right? Some cameos are really hard to figure out in gameplay. Other ones are really simple to use. Some characters clearly struggle to start their offense or whatnot in MK1 compared to other characters where it's just like dirt easy. So we were hoping that like, hey, so maybe instead of like bringing everything down a whole bunch, maybe we just do this. Beep. Right, let's just bring everything up a little bit. Let's just give a little bit of sauce to all the other characters. However, in same historic fashion to all the previous NRS games of the past 10 years, the first large collection of patches in every single one of these games doesn't do this. It does this.
Yeah.
So everything got toned down. Very few things actually got buffed or like adjusted in a positive fashion. So damage went down by 10 to 15% across the board. Most cameos, if you use 2 cameos in a combo, that cameo recovers way slower.
Yep.
Things like that. So overall, like the encouragement of cameo usage kind of went down. So it's like,
Great.
That feels so completely opposite of what you were promoting with the game. What's going on here? So it's unfortunate. And Cyrax was obviously a cameo that was way too good. And now it just makes it so that Kung Lao hat is now the best cameo in the game.
Now he's the GOAT.
it got toned down too, but there was already an argument. Who's the best cameo? Is it Cyrax or Kung Lao? The best characters in the game, we're kind of leaning towards Lao Hat. We're making them super good, right? But guess what Cyrax Assist did? It actually made a lot of the lower tier characters a lot better. So the argument behind this is that by them nerfing Cyrax, they essentially like decimated a bunch of the low tier characters, and now the high tier characters just stay good because Lao Hat's still really good. So now everyone's just using Lao Hat. That's what's going on right now.
Lao Hat and Goro.
Goro is also very good.
Goro is the new Cyrax. Like even though he just does this one hit like thing, it just works so well with like a lot of characters. Kind of like the similar strategy that Cyrax did with his like kind of spin. Yeah. So now everyone's just using Goro now.
And I think the encouragement from everybody was like, we want to go, right? If we wanted that, we wanted the cameos to just have a bit more usability, because the cameos that have attacking ambush cameos, ones that you can use at any time, those are clearly the best ones in the game. Like, and were ones that recover really fast and have fast recovery, like Lao had, clearly some of the best ones in the game. And there's just not actually that many when you think about it overall.
It just seems like whenever a new game comes out, like, I mean, maybe not even just NRS, but most devs, they just go, well, we have to nerf things. Like, that's just, you always think that the white noise from players, especially the mainstream like ones that you hear the most from, is just like, oh, this is too damaging, this is too good, and like the snap like reaction is to always nerf, right? It just seems like it historically outside.
It's just the way all NRS games have operated, dude.
It's just so funny. Because literally, like, when I saw the whole Cyrax thing, everyone, like, he just got nerfed to oblivion to make it, like, seem like, oh, yeah, no one's going to use Cyrax anymore. It was, like, the same thing with, like, Mortal Kombat X with Tanya. That 1 year of CEO where Tanya just dominated, like, 7 out of 8 spots. And literally the following day, completely nerfed where she's just unplayable. Yeah. And I'm like, man, this is literally the NRS special.
Dude, this was because before that it was also and they had to bump her up way down the line, right? When it eventually got to like the last patches, she became okay. This is I call it the Scorpion special, because in Injustice 1, Scorpion launched day and date best character in the game easily. Like, bitch came out and he was absolutely friggin' wild. And then a patch came within, like, I think, like a few weeks, right? It was very close to the time he launched. And he became top 1 best in the game to absolute bottom of the barrel worst. So it was like, Jesus. And yeah, there's a great video from Ketchup and Mustard on, like, what happened to Scorpion, like, why he became so bad. But it was the most shotgun to the face. Like, God damn, they had no sympathy. So here's the historical perspective, and I had to like describe to people why. It's not that Cyrax being nerfed is exactly a bad thing, because he was overused. The issue with this is that the reason why a lot of people that have been playing NRS games outside of Mortal Kombat 11 are complaining about this is because it just follows suit. And all these games going 10 years plus means that instead of doing this to most of the game, it starts here, then it goes to here, then it goes to here, then it goes to here. And this is like over the span of like a year to a year and a half. And then eventually they go, and towards the end, the absolute like end of the game, this is like you have to wait till Aftermath for Mortal Kombat 11. You have to wait till the final patches of MKX, the final patches of Injustice 1, Injustice 2, for everything to go, oh yeah. And then, don't worry, we fix it. And we fixed a lot of core issues too. So it's like, oh no, are we going to have to deal with like huge balancing nerf to huge balancing nerfed? That's like, I guarantee you Kung Lao Hat is next. I can almost bet money that they're just going to make Kung Lao Hat really bad and have like 3 times the recovery that it does now.
Well, they already nerfed the what do you call it? The ambush, right? Where it doesn't launch anymore.
Yes.
As a defensive attack. I think like there's already people complaining about the hat and also the teleport. Yeah. Like the teleport, I think it's a bug, but I think it's gonna be fixed. It has like 2 to 3 points of armor, So literally somebody's getting hit and then Kung Lao's just teleport and saves you. So for sure that's going to be taken out.
Every one of Kung Lao's assists is good. And the weirdest buff, quote unquote, which was actually a bug fix, was Serena. And Serena was obviously like the #1 most used assist in the game in the first couple weeks the game was out, because she just worked, right? You could clearly see what's good. I clearly get a bunch of damage if I do this, right? Like, and the majority of her cameo assists were good. She got buffed. She got no changes to the stuff that was obviously why everyone was using her, and her little meter drain thing. Like, if you get people in it, it sucks like a bar and a half. It's so good now. You don't gain meter anymore, and then it counters the gain of the meter, and so it does like this. No, it just goes. So people just don't get to break against her. It's like, oh my god. So Serena is like obviously a crazy good assist and good in neutral. So I don't know. It's like I kind of agree with what Ketchup and Mustard said. Serena's a perfect assist. Every cameo in the game should be like her with functionality, and things should just like sort of work the way they do and be like, oh yeah, I use this here, use this there. Because some cameos just don't have that, man. They're just like, oh, they're like,
they definitely don't.
How do I fit this shit, this Motaro guy? Like, how do I make this actually work for offense or defense? So, I mean, all I got to say is that MK1 is a funny game with a lot of funny issues. They are lucky. It is fun as shit. And it's still fun. Like, I started playing Havoc. I'm having a great time. Like, he's probably my weirdly my main, just because I'm still waiting on Ermac and Cicada and stuff. But I really enjoy him. Like, he's knowledge checks the hell out of people too. Nobody knows what the hell to do against him. So I'm having a great time.
But they killed my boy Baraka, bro. Like, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Justin.
He's good too.
He's still good, man. He still opens up people for free, right?
He obviously, like you said, the damage got nerfed and everything. He lost his best buddy Cyrax. They went back, like they used to go to school together and everything.
Yeah. They were Wolverine Akuma.
Yeah, Wolverine Akuma. So they were completely gone. But yeah, I would say, I mean, the other character I really like, he's still really good, Shang Tsung. So I'm definitely...
Shang's still very good.
Yeah, I definitely like Shang Tsung.
And I think Baraka is one of those characters. He got damage toned down a little bit, and I think like some of his moves don't like jail as much or something, but he still gets like back 3. He still gets like...
Yeah, that back 3 is still busted.
Still busted, man. Like forward 3, forward 4. Like if Baraka wants to open you up, this bitch just gets natural 50-50s and they're safe. So... Yeah. He's still fine. He's still doing fine.
But somehow Johnny survived.
Oh,
somehow
God.
Johnny survived.
So that's
they
the thing,
love
Matt.
him at NRS.
Yeah, that's the thing that, if you haven't heard, Matt, that was the most shocking of everything, because Johnny was easily considerable top 1 with like Raiden, right? He was easily one of the best characters in the game. Like nothing got touched. He survived. Such a privileged bitch.
The patch list just says Cyrax, and it just says list like 7 things, even though he only does like 3 things. Or like it shows Baraka, then it shows these characters. It says Johnny, no notes.
Yeah, no notes.
It was like bug fixes on Johnny. It was like we fixed some things. Like that was about it. He's clearly insane. Like he's playing Mortal Kombat 9. Is what he's playing. And other characters are playing like kind of MK9. Like this game is closest to MK9 than all the other MKs, but dude, Johnny is on another level. I had a night where I was playing Havoc and I was like trying to rank up a little bit because I'm finally playing like one character. And I swear to God, 8 out of 10 matches were Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage and like Kung Lao Low Hat. I was like, fuck, this is easily one of those fighting games where people just want to win. I don't want to not win. So I'm just going to pick the good shit. And I started also using Sub-Zero assist because he's clearly good. And so much of, and I'm sure Justin's run into this, so much of online in MK is you going through ranks and people just walk back and throw projectiles. And that's just their whole ass game plan. And Sub-Zero has ice armor where it just negates projectiles. And they just go, well, fuck. What,
what do I do now?
They just fall apart. They just keep doing it. They don't care. I'm like, dang, okay, well, we're ranking up now, boys.
Yeah, like, what do I do now?
So it's still, it's still a super fun game.
Yeah.
That does seem like an NRS thing, like for like the casual players that have like, played Injustices and everything. It's like walk back, shoot projectiles.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least there's a counter to it. Another bit of Mortal Kombat thing is I was so confused about this at first because I just started hearing, oh, Mortal Kombat Halloween stuff. Oh, there's a stage. I'm like, oh, cool. There's a Halloween stage. Yeah. That's neat. And I'm like, oh, it's free stage, I think, right?
Yeah, which is cool.
It's free.
And then I just started hearing about a fatality and a fatality this and a Halloween fatality. And I just seen this jack-o'-lantern, this pumpkin. I was like, wait, no, what is this? And I sit down, these are all different things. I thought this was a big Halloween bundle of content that you got for free. And then, no, it's not. No. Some bits are free, but then it's just this one fatality. And even then, I was like, oh, a stage fatality. The game is adding a bunch of stage fatalities.
No.
And it's $10. And then when I finally read the full thing, I'm like, no, it's one fatality. Everyone gets to do it. It's $10. It's
technically 12.
A 6. It's a 6 of a fatality.
Yeah.
What is this? What is everyone's theories as to why this is being done aside from, WB?
It's the new age of age of making money.
It's WB.
It's WB. Yeah. I mean, to be real, like we already got kind of got gotted with the Deadly Alliance Scorpion skin, and that was sort of kind of like there was you at least had like a reason. You're like, oh, this costume's coming back. That's sick. $10. Wow, that's expensive for just a skin on one character. Okay, you know what? A lot of people bought into it because at least it was something that everyone's been wanting to see that costume come back for a long time. It's one of the coolest Scorpion
I haven't
costumes.
gotten it yet, but I want it.
Sure, and it's still around. You can still buy it. Okay. So I think that was like the beginning of it, right? That was like the beginning of like, yeah, but at least it's something we all really want. I think the problem with selling a fatality for the price that it is the premise of what Mortal Kombat is to the majority of its audience, to like the very large percentage of people. What is Mortal Kombat? It's not its gameplay. It's not even its characters. It's fatalities. It's like the essence of the game.
For a big percentage of the mainstream audience, like I think it's gone away from that over the years, but in some ways it's also gotten bigger,
yes,
the fatality aspect.
Yeah.
But like there's still a lot more like, people wanting to play it for fun mechanics and blah blah blah.
For sure.
But yeah, now it's like it's just gone like this, where the want for fatalities and the want for like a good playing game have like risen, but like the fatality thing is always still there. But like I was disappointed enough that this game had easy fatality tokens still.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh really? All right, you already did that before. Fine, I guess.
Yeah.
And just charging for an animation that has no game. Like I can't even think of very few things in fighting games that have charged something like this.
And that's the weird thing about it, because fatalities are like ingrained into Mortal Kombat, and previous games that offer finishers, they've been a part of like big updates and bundles, like, like Aftermath, you get all this extra stuff. Here's all these new finishers for all of the roster. Here is Mortal Kombat X. We're going to add in classic fatalities for all the older characters. They're just part of like an update, or you just go to the store and just download it for no money. Like it was free for at least a very large period of time. So in the past, it's like, oh yeah, if they add gameplay things, then they are historically kind of free or very low price or just bundled in with a whole bunch of other content. Now they're being piecemealed. Game. Yeah, now it's literally being piecemealed out, where it's like, oh, so we're going to add, this extra brutality. Here's what it costs. Or even fatality, that's what I mean.
Just like playing Mortal Kombat 1 so much with like invasions and the different currencies and like how do you get all these different currencies, it just reminded me as a huge, big old mobile game gacha system. Because even when you're pulling the shrine, it's like you're still gambling to see like what you're gonna get, what you're gonna get, what you're gonna get.
Sure.
Right. And now I really, with the fatalities, I mean, we'll probably see maybe a Christmas fatality. Right.
Yeah.
And that'll be like maybe another $10. Who knows?
I would imagine so the counter to this is that the stage was free. Like Johnny Cage's mansion had an alternate skin, and it's got all this spooky Halloween shit in it. So it was cool. It was actually a very cool looking stage.
Yeah,
so,
that's nice.
So this is how you fix the whole situation. You have the Johnny Cage mansion skin. You have the fatality. You have like a spooky variant skin for everybody. Nothing super elaborate, but everyone has evil eyes or fangs or
like a
or
zombie
whatever.
version, right?
A zombie version.
Yeah.
Orange, black, green, like creepy colors. Have a bunch of shit and charge $10 for it then. It'd be cool if it was just free, But if WB needs to like make that bag,
it should have been a package, right?
It should have been a whole package.
It should have been a package. Like here's a variant for the whole roster, just like a color variant. You know, like you said, orange and purple. Done. You're good.
Yeah.
And then, here's your fatality and here's something else. Even if you did the stage, sure. Like that feels like that's sort of a bang for your buck. Like, yeah, cool. I'll buy the Halloween thing.
A new announcer too. I don't know. Like you can, the game has enough stuff like of things you could put in there. Everyone gets a new like brutality. I don't know, but like $10 is not a bad price for how much stuff you may put in it.
Yeah.
But just for one fatality, that's good. That like it's all right.
Yeah.
But and even then, I keep forgetting to talk about this. This game has no stage fatalities, and I talked about this and when I played the story mode and I put a video out on it. I was like, yeah, this game has 0 stage fatalities, and they're like, oh yeah, MKX and MK11 didn't have any stage fatalities at launch either.
They added them
Does
for
that
free.
Sound correct?
Yeah. MK11 definitely got them later. MKX did not have them at the start either, but they were
crazy.
eventually
I don't
added for
remember that.
free.
Okay. So if those start coming out, and if hopefully the backlash against this will be big enough that like stage fatalities won't cost anything, but I don't know now.
Yeah, backlash is a meager way of putting it. Everyone is fucking pissed. Like people are feeling like they are being absolutely gouged in a game where the majority of the Mortal Kombat audience are people that do not want to play online. They do not want to populate ranked and stuff. So where do they get their content in this game? People are already mad because you finish invasion mode pretty quick and it's done. And so you have to wait for like the seasonal thing to change, and that's like potentially months later. So what do you do after that? Well, there's character mastery. You can like go and unlock stuff on the other characters, but you're just playing through invasion mode again, right? And just grinding out those characters.
That one stage too.
Yes, like one specific thing that is actually good in the middle of invasion mode. That's it. There's nothing else.
Yep.
And once you also deplete the shrine, which has a limited amount of stuff that actually comes out of it, which can be pretty fast, there's nothing else. It says the shrine is done. Come back next season. So even within the first couple weeks of the game being out, you had a lot of this casual audience that just plays MK for the sake of it being MK, and they don't have anything else to do. They're like, dude, I had so many things to do in Mortal Kombat 11. Like the towers were changing like every other day. I had to they were giving unique rewards for every character that I could see, tangible rewards that I could just go through and get. I would like grind towers for a few days and go do all this stuff right. So I remember that. Like MK11 had a lot of that shit. And those living towers are kind of like sort of jumbled into moments of invasion mode now.
Because we've complained about that before, like, oh, MK11, it was too much of a grind, but I will admit, a grind is still a thing to do.
Sure.
It is still a thing to engage with versus like there not being. And when I didn't finish Invasions mode. Yeah, just haven't had a minute.
Me either.
But,
and I'm not going to finish it, to be honest. It's just not fun
finished
enough for me. I'm done.
I finished it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that goes with Street Fighter 6 World Tour mode. Never start, never finish it, huh?
I know. I started it. Oh, I put 2 hours into
Started
invasion
it.
mode.
Into the beta, yeah.
I got plenty of time with invasion mode until I got to the part where characters just had 1 billion hits of armor, 3 times the HP, and the lights were going out. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Whatever the rewards are at the end of this, it's not worth the frustration.
I went through the process. It was pretty annoying, but I mean, you get some really cool rewards. Even with the tower, the seasonal tower was really hard. But you get like 4 skins from there.
I think I can't get baited in games like that anymore, man. Where it's like, this is just aggressively unfun, but we put something shiny at the end of it. It's not like grinding for the sake of like a Monster Hunter where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just learning the movesets of the monsters. And no, you are actively like unlearning the game by going through invasion mode. It's making you worse at it because you're relying on all this extra stuff to
doing dumb stuff. Yeah.
You're doing dumb stuff. Like, and that was my issue with MK11 stuff was that like, yeah, I'm not even playing the game anymore, dude. I'm not even actually learning the matchups.
And it kind of stinks because the opening of Invasions mode, like just learning it, Johnny Cage voiceover.
It's so
you're
cool.
You're kind of thinking, oh, it's going to be all like this. And it turns out to be like less and less like that as you go on. Anyway, hashtag Max World Tour Street Fighter 6 mode.
Yeah, I'll have to play the World Tour eventually.
I do feel bad for the casual players like you mentioned because like there's that, they want to collect everything, right? They're like collectors and everything, but there's that one thing that it will be very hard for them to collect is to get that Elder God online skin. Because
That ain't happening.
I mean that.
Every season,
Like a Titan skin or Elder God?
every season when you get the Elder God rank, you get like the final skin for that character for that season. So last season was Baraka, and he had this like really sick outfit, and then this season coming up will be Natara. So if you can't win online matches and you're just only playing for Mortal Kombat for the content and collecting everything, 100%ing,
You'll never get that.
Yeah, you'll probably never get to Elder God.
Yeah, and those aren't easy, you know, and it's getting harder and harder as the game goes along because
they take a long time. It's 3 matches for each ranked match. That's a long time.
It's a long time. Like you're spending 20 to 30 minutes if you're going, 2-2 in the final game. I just hit demigod, but I've only put like my total sets are less than 100. So even with like 60 to 65% win ratio, which I think I have, dude, I just hit demigod. So I still have god and then elder god to go after that. Yep. So it's like, geez, man, God. This is definitely this goes on for quite some time.
Yeah. Hey Justin. Hey Max. Did you guys ever hear of a game called KI 2013? And how that worked to get all the shit on your character is that you just played that character in every single mode and you got all their stuff.
Nope.
Never heard of this game.
I've never heard of it.
Right, fair enough.
Seems like it's a brand new game. Did you leak it?
Nope.
That's a good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, what did KI do? It was just like level 50 final skins were at level 50.
Yep.
And
that was
then
it. All the final skins are level 50.
You the most experience you got for that, like you could buy like double XP things and get them from some single player stuff, but you just played online.
To be fair, there's one skin no one can ever get, which was that one Shadow Jago skin that was on the action figure.
There are several action figure skins that are unacquirable in game.
Oh, it's like a amiibo type of thing?
Yes. Shadow Jago has this crazy glowing skin that you only got with a code from buying his toy. Spinal also has one.
No, that's the only one that's exclusive to the figure. The other ones, I looked this up because I made the a video on it recently. The other ones just unlock ones early. And you don't have to level through traditional means.
Okay.
Shadow Jago is the only one where it's like, no, you have to have the figure.
What about... Did you look up the weird Cinder one, blue and red fire Cinder? Where
there's no figure. There's no figure for Cinder.
There is no figure for Cinder, but it was unlocked through some crazy means where you literally have Cinder, like his base skin is blue, but the fire that comes off of him is orange or something like that. And you got it through some crazy means of the toy company when they made it, and I can't remember how it was. But it wasn't buying a toy.
I don't recall this.
Yeah, geez, I'll have to like look it up or something like that. Hold on a second. Cinder, Killer, Instinct,
just
Hidden
Blue,
Skin.
Orange. That's kind of cool though.
KI again.
That's kind of cool.
Sorry. Hang on.
I started it.
Damn it! I'll have to find it for you guys because it essentially was given through some weird means. Some Killer Instinct players will have to let me know. I don't even have it. But I think it was tied to One Source or the Source collectible guys that made the toys. But anyway, yes, there's this shit in there that you can't get anymore because it's tied to promotional.
But it's like 2 things in the entire game, like versus, you don't even have to play online as your favorite character. Like you just play them in single player and they just constantly level up. There was never anything that was locked via money.
Yeah.
Like, again, the action figure thing is a gray area because you needed money to buy that. But, I just... Nothing seems... I don't know how Tekken 8's going to handle all this stuff, cosmetic stuff. I'm going to assume it's going to be much like Tekken 7. But, it
looks, at least from the betas, it looks like they have like several costumes that are already in there by default.
Of costumes unlocked.
Yeah, it's like 4 for every character. And they're all different costumes.
Yeah, I remember looking at that big chart of all of them, and like all of them are sick. It's like 2 completely different ones and 2 color variants that are like so different that they might as well be new costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing this Cinder picture. Yeah, I remember this, but is that a weird unlockable thing?
It is, and I'm trying to look up the history behind it.
History behind this one Cinder skin.
So people like modded it in so they can actually play as it, but color 10, it was Cinder Color 10 is what it is. If you want to look up the history behind it, it's Cinder Color 10.
It is cool because, you know, fire can be blue in the center, then fade out into like orange and yellow. So yeah, it's a cool skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stuff with Mortal Kombat, it has been kind of, because when we all played it, and you guys especially now, you're like, this is so much fun.
Oh,
I'm
it's
having
way
so much
different
fun with the core gameplay, and it's like everything else around it has been kind of getting worse, unfortunately.
Yeah, they just added tagging moves, and like in training mode, they added that back to the game. They added ping bars, so you can actually see the connection with. You still can't do anything about it, but you can at least see the connection with your opponents. They added Forever King to the player matches, the King of the Hill player matches, which was dope. It's like, oh yeah, that means that one person just stays on top. So if you're fighting like a streamer, it just rotates in all the people that are in the lobby. Sick.
That is cool.
That is sick. However, it's still stuck in a mode where the only way to populate that room is to directly invite people from PSN. You can't like open a room and have people search the room or something and just join me. No, you have to the only way to get individuals in there is like private matches invite. And then you could fill it up and then you stay on top. So for a situation, if you're a streamer, you have to like, okay, here's 3 extra steps so we can do this, instead of like all the other games, it's just an open room and people can search it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Does it still have that 1 minute crash issue?
Yes.
Where, like, if you don't join,
I think it does. I think there's still weird, funky shit where like there's also host advantage. So the person that is hosting the room, it like pings them for the room host, and the other people have to revolve around that ping. I don't think that's been resolved yet.
Jesus
Host
Christ.
advantage.
There's a host
awesome.
advantage for whoever made the room.
Yep.
I just don't think the host advantage gets access to combos that other people don't. Host advantage. Maximum damage.
Max it out. So in Mortal Kombat news, there was also a slight tease at the newest assist. And the reason it is a talking point is because Tremor was shown. And Ed Boon specifically showed that Tremor has multiple variations.
Yeah.
This caused the entirety of the NRS community that has experience with Mortal Kombat X to lose their respective shit, because there was a variation for Tremor in Mortal Kombat X that gave his bitch ass a hit of armor, and he was dummy thick, ridiculously good because of it. So like the crystalline variation, I think is what it was, made him just nuts in MKX. And people are wondering, oh my God, is Tremor going to be able to give you crystalline armor? Well, that means you just have one hit of physical armor in Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 1. That'd be insanely good.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense because you have Sub-Zero that has 5 hits of projectile armor, so why not have a physical armor one? But I think you're right. The fact that it's a physical one, I'm just walking straight up you and you just can't hit me. Like, yeah, that's way more cheaper than projectile armor.
Definitely. But like in the teaser Ed shows, it just flips between the other two. So we're not sure if he's just purposely not showing the crystals in it.
That's the troll. That's the troll. That's the troll.
Yeah. It could be a troll, but it could be a reverse troll where they're actually not putting in it as like a little side, as like a little joke, like, hey, yeah, that was pretty busted, so we're not going to have that in there. But things come in threes usually, so.
Oh, and wait, he's set to release November 6th?
So yeah, like there's like a few days from now. Apparently, like Omni-Man and Tremor, like these characters are supposed to come out pretty soon. We haven't heard anything. We haven't seen anything of Omni-Man's actual gameplay outside of that really minor tease. We saw like 2 strings and fatalities, and a couple of specials. So, but apparently they're supposed to be coming out very soon.
Yeah, like this episode might be out. Like he might be out by the time
we'll be talking about Omni-Man on the next episode, most likely.
Comes out, but like. If for them to drop a trailer, they have like 2 or 3 days. Like they're not going to usually release stuff like this on a weekend, but they have like Thursday and Friday essentially to release. There's probably going to be it's probably going
to be Tuesday, like Monday night, Tuesday, Tuesday morning.
Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it's soon, and guess what? I am more excited for the Tremor cameo than I am for Omni-Man technically. Just because
you don't want to play Injustice 3?
I want to at least see how they're going to approach an Injustice-y character in Mortal Kombat 1, sure. But the effect of a new assist on the rest of the cast in terms of gameplay is way more interesting than Mr. Zip Zippy. So we'll see how it goes.
Zip Zippy.
That's what his name was originally.
Originally, yes. In the Invincible comic.
J.
Mr.
Jonah
Zip
Jameson
Zippy.
told me.
So yeah, what else did right. All three of us freaked out about this. A new look at the fan game, Capcom versus Sega. The devs put a pretty sick video, like a 2-minute video showing a bunch of updated animations and UI stuff, and it's just like, this is like potentially my favorite fighting game of 2024 whenever this releases.
Yeah,
this is just looking sicker.
It looks
and
really
sicker
beautiful.
every time.
Yeah,
It looks pretty. It's got an art style. The biggest difference between this and like a Mugen situation, or even what they're doing with Marvel, is this is a guy with an engine. I think it's made in like Ikemen or something like that.
Yeah,
Ikemen,
Ikemen
yeah.
is what TMNT versus Justice League uses, and
Gotcha.
it just seems like it's a really solid tool set.
The difference between this and a lot of other fan-made fighting game stuff is this is a fan project with Sega and Capcom characters, but it has all original assets. So it's not pulling models from another game. It's not pulling animations from another game. It's just a dude animating everything and modeling everything, I think. So I'd have to go back and hear about more from the devs, but it's like, wow, this is all you just making these models? Holy crap.
The
looks
only thing I
beautiful,
can think
yeah.
of is that it might be like using some models from Tatsunoko for Batsu, Ryu, and Morgan. 'Cause
No.
they look different for sure, but I just find that their poses and some of the proportions look really, really similar
well,
to it.
for sure, like some keyframes should be there, but if we're talking about like the detail of the character model, like
Yeah.
you have to look at TVC shit to see how ancient it is. Like
Yeah, like it's much blockier. There's more work put into this for sure. But Lin Kurosawa though,
yeah,
in Mega Man X,
she's never been made into a 3D character before and anything. She's been like referenced in costume for like Akira and stuff like that in Street Fighter 5 and completely original model, like unique movesets, working on walking animations and breathing animations and dashing animations and all the crazy shit that goes into it. So it's a huge effort. It's a wild amount of effort and it looks really good.
yeah.
and the Akira model from Virtua Fighter Akira, like he looks amazing, and just the Sega side is just really cool looking too.
Mm-hmm.
I just said this, like I don't know why. I think it's like holdover memories from not Namco Cross Capcom, the sequel where Sega was in it.
The
What was the
RPG,
full
right?
title? Yeah.
I have no
RPG,
idea
Yeah,
what-
that's Namco X Capcom.
Yeah, but what's the sequels that released on the 3DS that had like Sega thrown into it?
I forget
forget
what
their
that one's
names.
called.
Anyway, I just brain farts. Yeah, like I just think like when you put up the roster of Capcom characters versus a roster of Sega characters, there's always a really good rival for each side. I'm like,
perfect.
oh, it just works really well. Whereas like a few Nintendo characters, like, I don't know if they, Mario, you could say he fits against Mega Man, but maybe not like so much Mega Man X. So this just seems like a really solid lineup of like 10 characters so far.
If there was ever another chance of like a franchise versus Capcom thing to happen, obviously Sega is the number one thing they should do.
Yeah.
Would that be the most appealing? Probably not, because a lot of the classic Sega stuff, it's pretty niche, all things considered. If they had modern Sega, it'd be like Hatsune Miku and stuff like that, fighting Ryu.
Project X Zone,
X
by
Zone,
the way,
yeah.
is
Project
the
X Zone.
sequels I was thinking of, yeah.
But,
But
like,
yeah,
this-
best
but
luck
this-
with
yeah.
with them in this project.
But the Sega X Capcom, right? Like when you look at Sega vs. Capcom, like obviously you see the characters you're talking about, but have you seen the main menu options that they put in? It just
there's
is
Cross Fever.
amazing. Yeah,
There's-
Cross
and
Fever, arcade co-op as well too. Like they added a lot of really cool stuff. It looks like it's not just like a Mugen or Ikemen game. It's like, man, it looks like
It's a
something
game.
that you,
It's fully
you would just
functional.
buy, right?
Yeah.
You would just buy something from the store. Or
And that's the
online.
thing. It has those things that all Marvel vs. Capcom fans wanted from the 2v2 games, including Marvel Infinite, which is like, yeah, let us control both characters, right? Let us play through single player modes with both characters, and let us fight somebody else that also is playing both characters. So like 4 players total, 2 actual. That'd be great. It seems to have that. It's got that mode from the Dreamcast MVC1 Cross Fever mode.
It's nice.
Yeah, and even the stages like some are from 3D Sonic games, like just straight up Pumpkin Hill, and then Suzaku Temple for Ryu, and then like the Statue of Liberty. Like these are all really like good stage picks as well.
It really does feel like a modern like Tatsunoko versus Capcom feel. Like this overall presentation, it feels like modern day TVC characters that obviously look good, well rendered, but aren't insanely expensive, you know? Outside of that, all mostly good news we've been talking about today. Microsoft has updated their third-party device policy. And there was a recent tweet from the Brook guys who make the Brook converters that allow people to use hitboxes, mixboxes, a variety of different controllers on your Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, like everything, or Wii, Switch. And these guys kind of sent out a message warning people that around the beginning of November, Microsoft is installing a new third-party device policy that could render their devices unfunctional on the system. And the reason for this is that Microsoft is trying to tackle cheat devices, things like Cronus Max. From what I understand, my apologies if people are Cronus users and are like, hey, excuse me.
How dare you?
But there has been a lot of things where the big stem of this is Call of Duty, where since it's a game that has crossplay, people are using cheat devices on, consoles, and apparently a stem of that is from the Microsoft side. But if that does happen, that sort of null and voids the entire fighting game community that runs games on Xbox. And I already know Jabali started running Mortal Kombat 1 on Xboxes, trying to save money on PS5s and stuff. So that was going pretty good. Now he's like, well, I'm fucked. This happens. People just can't use their controllers on Xbox anymore because all their Xboxes just have, a little plug and play for the Brook converter.
Yeah, for example, Brooks converters, yeah.
And it's also, people say Xboxes play games on that. Sure, I get the joke. It's definitely not the more popular of the systems. However, Xbox has backwards compatible with so many fighting games that at events and tournaments, it's usually the best option. Where if you want to run Soul Calibur 1 matches or something like that, the Xbox version's amazing. Classic fighting games like Soul Calibur 2, the Xbox version is easily accessible and still there on a Series S or something like that. Just the list of fighting games that came out on the 360 and the Xbox One that's on that system is mind-boggling. And all of them work with modern controllers because of that device. So for any of the small side tournaments that exist, this essentially is a death sentence. You just can't use this system for that stuff anymore because your controllers won't work. And
you know what's crazy,
it's terrible.
Right? You know what's crazy? Because obviously when the fact that this Microsoft device policy came out, it's very possible that this might happen to even PlayStation.
I was hearing that.
Yeah.
Right, because recently there was an update for PlayStation, and I actually got this new stick that I got from a arcade maker in Europe, UK, called Fur and Arcade. Right, he puts a Brooks Fusion board in there, and it's supposed to work fine. I went to a recent event and started playing on it, and my controller just kept getting disconnected over and over.
The Fusion board needed to be updated, right?
No, it's because the fusion board was already updated.
Oh, okay.
But the patch somehow doesn't give the board enough power.
Yeah.
So it disconnects my controller. And other people that also had a similar chip set as me from Brooks, their controller was also getting disconnected at the same event. Thankfully, in my head, I'm like, oh shit. That means my stick isn't broken, because I thought my stick was broken the first time, but it just meant that there's an issue with the PS5 with the current Brooks board as well too. So it just seems like it's an issue happening with now Xbox, but also sometimes PS5 as well, where it just doesn't give the controller enough power.
And that has happened to me in the past when an update will come on PlayStation and I'll plug in my Brook converter and it'll work for a little bit and then stop working, and I'll have to connect it, reground it, and then it works again, and then it stops working. I'm like, crap. And then Brook releases an update file, a firmware update that you have to update the device, and then it works, and then it's oh, okay, good. But you have to do that kind of frequently, it's like Brook trying to keep up with the fact that PlayStation and Xbox, these guys change shit all the time.
Yeah.
So I made a tweet about this whole thing, just hoping that it gets to the attention. Markman had some stuff to sort of say on a device level that you could make IDs for all these devices and then, make the ones that aren't cheat devices clearly be okay. And he was willing to help out Microsoft because obviously he has had a big hand in all this controller making for the past 10 plus years, and Evo is a thing. So, it seems people are trying to be more aware of it. And we're trying to create awareness in some way because regardless of, not as many people play on that system, buy a PlayStation. You are subjecting a huge amount of people that use these things to play like Street Fighter on their Xbox, much less they are using devices for accessibility from other systems on this system, and that just isn't feasible to buy another $200 stick or something like that.
Yep.
And it even goes outside, like, fighting game majors or not even majors. Like, you just go to any random con that has video games associated with it. You go to the casual play section. There's dozens and dozens of consoles set up. And, like, far as back as I remember, 360 is usually there because there's so many games that are still available or whatever, downloadable arcade games and such, and like that'll affect that too. If I mean, casual play is casual play. Maybe not people are bringing their hitbox up for casual Sonic the fighters on the 360, but it still will affect like things even outside the fighting game sphere, like the FGC rather I should say. So
and that's what I mean. Is like this FGC is obviously being affected a lot, but this will trickle down and start to really hammer a lot of people that use. It's my system, man. Just let me use whatever freaking controller I want.
Let me use my controller, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, let's hope something changes on that end because that would just genuinely suck. Speaking of things that genuinely suck, man, the second half of this is a whole bunch of fun. I really didn't get into this because I think I'm just sick and tired of Nintendo just being a huge shitter to anybody that loves their games. We fucking hate our fans and we hate you. Like, Nintendo has some new Smash tournament restrictions. Matt or Justin, did you guys get refreshed on this? Because I almost aggressively stayed away from it to not make myself mad again.
I read it like a little bit. I read it a little bit earlier, like before we started recording, and the first thing I saw was like what is a community tournament permitted by these guidelines, and it's pretty much saying you can't have more than 300 participants online and 200 participants in person. And I'm like, wait, that the math doesn't make sense in my head because these Smash tournaments at majors, at these offline events, are like in the thousands.
Oh, yeah.
So you're telling me that you can only have a 200-man max tournament? So
what
happens there?
Where do tournaments actually make their money to even host the event? How do they make their money to pay the $40,000 to $50,000 bill of having just internet at the event? Like, where do they pay for that? They pay it through the entry fee, right? They hope that 1,000 people are going to enter Smash so that the entry fee can hopefully go even on that shit.
Most of the time it's even or just a little bit less.
Now if it's 300 people, the entry fee is going to be $450.
So it's 300 online and only 200 people can play offline. So
that's insane.
Yeah, it's just insane, and it's like you have to be a not-for-profit tournaments, and like so meaning like it's really hard for you to get approval to get sponsors. As well too to also help pay for the cost. You also can't sell food, beverage, or merchandise. So that takes away kind of like artist alleys, also food and beverage.
People are going to die if they can't get water.
It needs to be held also in a bathroom, but specifically to Nintendo, a gender-neutral bathroom.
On the Switch.
Yeah, it was just insane. I was just reading this. I'm like, there's no way Nintendo put this out. Like in my head, I was like, there's no way Nintendo put this out. But
this is crazy.
Here we are.
Limiting to the amount of participants, I'm trying to read, and they're like, so Max won't like this first sentence because it's not very okay. Thank you for sharing your passion for Nintendo's games, characters, and worlds. Nintendo cares about the community and would like to support individuals who want to celebrate that passion by creating memorable, cooperative, and competitive play experiences. At the same time, we want to ensure that fans who are doing so are engaging with our games, characters, and worlds in a way that positively supports other fans and players. So we want to limit the amount, but is that because they want low numbers at events to like not spread COVID? What is the actual thing you're protecting people from here?
I don't know. It's just such a weird.
And shouldn't you have done this in 2020?
Yeah, like
not 2020.
It's so weird because Hungry Box runs like online tournaments every week, and it gets over 1,000 people every single week.
So is that shit like illegal now?
Yeah, that's what.
So you just can't even hold
straight
online
to jail.
Tournaments. Yeah,
sent to jail.
The Nintendo cops will come after you.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Smash tournaments are taking all this news and everything like that. But you know
imagine
Bobby
it's good.
Scar, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Scar made a video a long time ago. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, call the police and arrest us kids playing video games, right? So I think literally, I don't know. It seems like they're gonna call the bluff.
It's like a bluff. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to probably call the bluff because there's no way, because all these other tournaments that are already set in stone, signed contracts with hotels, they have to, like, what are they gonna do? Take the loss on already paying up front for all that, right? They have to keep going.
But no, but it's to intimidate the tournament organizers. Like, they could get legal action put on them. Maybe that's the threat.
Maybe.
It is a threat, but it's
not
just
that
more
cops
just,
will start tear gassing little Timmy playing Smash Ultimate.
Dude, let's go. Dude, holy God. The thought of that, like, you have a Smash event, 6,000 people have entered. It's called SmashCon World Tournament. And then they kick the doors down. Tear gas enters the
riot
room.
shields.
They
That's
literally have the
insane, bro.
Nintendo logo on the riot shields. My God. The imagery. Like,
the cops with the riot helmets, like they're spray painted with like the skeleton of like Bowser's skull.
they have their favorite Nintendo characters spray painted on their faces to enforce the law. It's Judge Dredd Nintendo. I love it. I want to see it happen. I really do.
We turn this negative into a positive for about 1 second.
I want that to be turned into a movie
thing.
Oh,
Yeah, like
man,
an
that's-
animation or a fan
Yeah.
art. Just
So and again, the history behind this is that Nintendo just hates its fans. They hate people that play their games competitively, especially for money. They have a weird despisement for people that play Smash Brothers and in any way can have like a career out of it in some way.
But that's the thing. It's Smash, because Smash is the only one that's big enough to even garner enough reputation. It's not like there's major Mario Kart tournaments. Maybe there is.
I heard there's a second community tournament guideline for even speedrunners.
What?
as well, too.
No.
Yeah, I read something about like you have to like
You mean like
follow rules,
AGDQ?
like Super Mario like speedruns or anything like that. as
Yeah,
well,
any
too.
money you make from a Super Mario speedrun where you get like 3/4 your revenue. I'm just saying hypothetically, but I would not be surprised.
There was something that I don't know if it was a troll or anything.
It can't
but
be
they were
real.
they were saying some like I said, it was just Twitter, right? I didn't read completely because the article is like freaking 50 pages long or whatever. But someone mentioned Mario speedrunning is also a thing.
Nintendo, if you didn't want this, like, if you want full control over this Smash stuff, maybe you should have made Smash so successful, huh? Did you think about that? Maybe make the next one really shitty so no one plays it. Like, what do you want from this? Like, this is the measure of your own success for this series.
Yeah, it's
You made it too popular,
insane.
and you got to take everything that comes with that popularity. Anyway.
Well, yeah, that's
Anyway.
happening now. Sorry to everybody that likes Smash Brothers in some way. It sucks that Nintendo hates you. So, in other news, Street Fighter 6 sells 2.4 million copies. Pretty good. I think
Capcom's eating good.
Capcom's eating good. It feels like these are in comparative. Some people say like low numbers. But I think this still tracks as the best-selling
It's ahead
Street
of-
Fighter game since Street Fighter 4, and is like comparative to it and Street Fighter 2.
Yeah,
It's definitely ahead of 5. Like, I think the metric was
Oh, it's
that
100% ahead of 5. Yeah.
It took 5 like a year maybe to do that much.
No, it took 5 2 years to reach 2 million.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
5 was really behind. Like, it took them a long time. So it's way ahead of Street Fighter 5, like way ahead. And granted, I think there's something else that doesn't help in this situation. Street Fighter 5 got a ton of characters really fast. Street Fighter 6 is not getting that, and we've barely gotten any actual content outside of lobby skins, which we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
And that isn't what most people want in the game. People are just waiting for things like, can I just buy shit for my characters, or can we buy new characters? And you gotta wait, man. Like, we're not seeing Ed show up in the game for another 3 months or something like that, and Akuma's another few months after that. So I think by the time we get to that point, like a little bit before a year the game's been out, I think we'll start to get closer to like 3 million sales, because Akuma is what everybody wants, and he's at the end of season 1.
before we started recording, Max, I was talking to Justin about this. We're just saying, like, the general theory here, and I think you would agree, is that, like, Capcom said, let's do this for Street Fighter 6. Everyone's really going to love avatars. People probably didn't like how many costumes we gouged people on in Street Fighter 5. So let's pump the brakes on that a little bit.
Sure.
And then this is our plan going forward. And then they enact said plan. Said plan is not exactly what people want. No, I want the costumes now because I love your game.
Yeah.
Now I want sick-ass costumes.
And to be real, my only argument is that the costumes literally kept Street Fighter 5 alive. If the costumes weren't coming at the frequency they were, and people weren't buying them up, because they weren't that expensive. They were relatively cheap as well. Everything was like less than $5.
Yeah,
$3, $5. Yeah. Like they weren't that bad. That saved that game. Like the DLC for Street Fighter 5 literally kept it afloat for those first few years. So I think having both would have been nice.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just give us costumes for our characters to buy. Give us some skins. Like, suddenly, right? Like, there's a skin just for Ryu, or there's a skin for Jury, or here it is. It's available for a little while now. It's going to come back later. Like, I don't know. Maybe the store just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Don't do the FOMO shit. Like, but now we have nothing but character season pass stuff that is popping up for just your avatar freaks.
Yep.
And while we've gotten the two characters, it's that's still fine. Like every 3 months, get a new character. That's all right. But yeah, you need other stuff aside from the avatar things, or like the game arcade games that rotate in and out, or whatever it is. This reminds me of, though. Remember early on in Street Fighter 5, it was like, here's a look at the nostalgia costumes for like Alex and like 2 or 3 other characters. And we saw like artwork for that.
Right.
And then Capcom shut up about it for like a year. Never said anything. And I remember people just going like, where are those nostalgia costumes? Why did, like, you have them somewhere. And then eventually they came out. But the fact that they showed outfit 3 for all these characters and they're all amazing. And like, but why'd you show us that when like you're not even close to releasing them? The only other thing I can think of is they're like, let's keep all the outfit 3s until the first season of characters is done.
Right.
Once they're all out, then everyone gets their costume.
Dude, they were teasing this shit for 3 months already. Like
exactly.
It's too long. Like that. I don't know. Like it just feels that Street Fighter 5 was getting a lot of characters at a frequent pace that was kind of fast. And maybe there's just more to it in Street Fighter 6. Obviously, World Tour mode editions and all that kind of stuff is having a big impact. But they're starting to wait a little too long. And even I'm at a point where I've been playing a lot of MK1 and I've wanted to go back to Street Fighter 6. And I remind myself, what's left for me in that game? Just to MR grind. And MR grind is only so appealing in general, right? So I'm kind of like, I'll just wait till costumes are out. That's what I'm feeling right now. I really enjoy the game, but I'm just kind of waiting till there's something like a big change, something that really has an impact on the game in some way. I don't need a whole balance patch, just like something new, right?
Yeah. Hey, Justin, Max, do you remember a game called KI 2013 where if you wanted to get all of the characters' costumes, all you had to do was play them?
No, I never heard of it.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, you could buy Hagar right now. You're starting today.
Max, what is your term for this new Hagar costume that Justin has mentioned?
This is the Killer Instinct podcast. How can I help you?
There's
a Hagar
pump up titty,
huge nipple avatar Hagar, and he is like, I looked at it from a screenshot, and it looked like he just has a huge blow up tits.
And
I'm like, wait a minute, what am I looking at? And it looked photoshopped, and apparently he has you have like a buff Hagar suit, but it's even bigger than your character's body.
But your head is your real head.
Gotcha.
Well, not your real head.
So it's like a blow up muscle body.
It's like a chess piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's not the pants, because the pants are like in the game already.
Oh, it comes with the pants.
Oh, but I thought those were just like regular avatar pants. You can just.
I'm pretty sure you can
make
make those pants in the avatar in World Tour, but the pants comes with this fighting pass, final fight.
Yes. Okay. Thing. Now I see. Yeah, it has the belt. Has
like a logo on it or something.
It has Cody's chain link cuffs. So you get 3 stage music tracks, all from Alpha, Guy, Sodom, and Relento. You have the device wallpaper for your phone. You have an emote. You have the classic game Final Fight, which, that's been playable in the game for a while. And of course, you have the only character that has never come back from Alpha. Sodom is now a premium silly costume.
He does. I'll give Capcom this. He does look pretty cool in the Avatar outfit, but man, it makes me sad that you just kind of like tell me like, yeah, he's not coming back.
Yeah, that's the announcement. Sodom's not coming back.
If you said he's coming back in Street Fighter V, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool, I guess. But now that Street Fighter 6, it's like I want to see what you could do with this goofy character.
Right.
Like, I'm sure you can make him more interesting, cooler, goofier even. Like, but in Street Fighter 5, it would have been like he probably would have been the same thing. It probably would have been the same character, and then no real interesting changes, just by how Street Fighter 5 worked.
Yeah.
And me as a huge Final Fight fan, this is not like the end all be all. There's never going to be like a Hagar added, or there's never going to be like other Final Fight content or a Final Fight character being added back in, Guy or Mackie or Lucia even. But it still hurt my heart a little bit to initially get really excited to see something, click on it, see what it actually is, and go, oh. Considering a lot of people are now kind of tired with the I said on Twitter, I feel so bad for the guy running Street Fighter 6's Twitter, because he's mandated you have to let people know that 7 new pieces of Avatar content are coming every single day, and he just has to do it. And I've never seen such a non-divide where no one says cool. It's all fuck this.
Everyone's where the hell are our character costumes?
That's all it ever is. I've never seen someone say, thanks, I'm going to add that to my avatar. And it just doesn't happen. So
the only good thing I care about the avatar is like the ones where they're like, oh yeah, like we're doing this special collab. Log into the game or play a match on the cabinet and you get this piece of outfit for free. Like, yeah. I'm scrolling through like the Street Fighter Twitter, and then like I see they're giving away these Onisuka Tiger sneakers. You log in right now, you get it for free. Like, that's cool. Like, I don't like stuff like that's cool, but
that's totally fine.
But man, like these all these different type of avatar outfits, like I'm tired of it.
And what is the prices on this? There's that sword, and some people are saying this sword costs $15.
I mean, the turtles cost $15 per turtle.
Okay, no, the samurai outfit. The samurai outfit does look pretty cool. And it's 5 pieces all together, and like I have to look up at how much it actually is, because I remember
25 is a lot.
It's 25.
Really?
No, you just said it's 25.
No, I'm saying like you mentioned 25. I was like, it's 25 is a lot.
It's just what I saw people saying in the thing. It might be outdated. Samurai outfit. Street Fighter 6 price.
Oh, so people are. I'm checking the Twitter. People are tweeting that it's $25. This
like
is
the whole thing.
Pretty disgusting. Yeah, the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, people are commenting, why is this $25 and everything. So yeah, I guess it is $25.
Wow,
that's more than the turtles.
Bro,
it's more than a turtle.
So it's $5 per piece: head, chest, arms, waist, legs. That's kind of bad. That's kind of bad.
Hey, I'm going to take my $25 samurai. I want to import him into Mortal Kombat and do my $10 fucking staged Halloween fatality.
Bro, $25, bro. Insane.
And this was my comparative where it's like, okay, so if they do this for Street Fighter, right? And obviously elements in Street Fighter are like this. It's limited to your goofball avatar freaks, which have me just like, yeah, whatever. I don't feel like that's a key component of the game. It's not like affecting the game in some way. But if they had costumes for all the characters in the game and they're like $10+ per character per costume, all right, I think that's fucking sucks, dude. Like, you have to sell them in packs or something like that, like Street Fighter 4, or make them like $5. I think $5 is about like the limit of a skin for a character in a fighting game that is just on top of what that character already is. Because even if you sell characters in fighting games, they usually like max out or $7 or $8 usually.
What about if like you have a avatar version, like that samurai outfit is like, it applies to all your avatars, whatever. It's $5, but then there's a premium version that actually can be attached to every member of the main cast.
Well, that's different. Yeah, that actually is a level of functionality. Yeah, I think that's kind of okay. It still sucks that we'd have to do that in that way, but at least it's doing something to the core game where you're actually spending the majority of your time. This really feels like, you know, our casual audience is into this stuff, and I think it's doing well, and people are scooping. They just might be scooping this into their mouth like really fast. So I'm assuming there's an audience for this stuff. That's why they're doing it.
It is like there's always avatar battles going. There's a sweaty avatar battle community with like all level 100s and everything like that. So I'm guessing it's really meant for that. But you know what this reminds me of, actually?
What?
It reminds me of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Pay for those gems to win, to get the buffs and stats and everything. So this could be another thing where it's like you're buying this and also it helps your character stats as well.
If that's the case, then that really is shitty. If it actually adjusts how your character plays,
because you do get stats with like different pieces of outfits.
You do.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, in World Tour mode, I think the Chipotle.
Oh.
I think in Chipotle, the burrito or whatever give you stats and everything, but it also affects an avatar battle. So avatar battles, those stats will carry over.
I'd like to everybody that's listening to this from the past that eventually comes across this to know that in the year 2023, the quote from the recently released Street Fighter 6 was, "The Chipotle burrito armor gives you way better stats, so you should buy it." Get them early.
You can't get it anymore. It's gone. It's free. It was for free.
It was free. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. If you're in the past, you better be sure to get on that shit because it will leave, and you will never be as buff without your Chipotle burrito stats.
If we went back to episode 1 of TKO before Street Fighter 6 was even revealed, and we said that to like past Max,
yeah, that's what I mean.
His hat would hit the ceiling that he's not wearing.
Hits the air vent. I think the last thing we really wanted to talk about before we go was a pretty huge event that rocked the community over the past couple weeks, and one of the bigger reasons why Justin wasn't able to join us last weekend or last week's stream was because we lost someone in the community that obviously I had quite a bit of interaction with, and I'd worked with fLoE on several different projects between Guilty Gear, and he came over from Marvel, and I just casually knew him as a really cool dude. But to Justin, like, this was, you know, one of his closest acquaintances. So I wanted to give a little bit of a chance just to give Justin some time to speak on all of this, because losing fLoE was kind of a huge like rock to the whole FGC. And it was kind of nice, at least on my end, to see everyone celebrate him in some way.
Yeah, it was really sad. You know, I got the call from his family, and I immediately rushed over to Vegas to kind of see him. And I know like they had asked me to invite like other people who were really good friends of fLoE to like could they come and see him, pay the wishes at the service and the funeral and everything. And a lot of people showed up. We had like 20 FGC guys that fLoE was really close to, and they all like flew in from like different states, different countries, and you know that's how much he meant. Because like before I even started playing fighting games, he was playing. Like he was like 8 years old at a Tekken tag like national tournament as well too, and he's one of those guys that when you see a new fighting game and you need somebody to learn from real fast, he's one of those guys that you would always tune in to watch his streams, like, you know, literally take his feedback. He worked on one of our favorite games, Third Strike Online Edition, put a lot of effort into it. And, you know, you probably know him as from watching his streams of Raging, of I Want to Be the Guy, Bashi as well. And it really sucked to lose him at such a young age, like 38 years old. This is terrible.
Yeah, and he had a huge impact on the community. Like Justin said, he kind of paved the way for even Killer Instinct to get made, because he gave Keats sort of the memo that, hey, you want to take my spot at Iron Galaxy. Obviously having an impact on our end. You just mentioned how he was like one of your best training partners. I remember you and fLoE constantly in grand finals at Wednesday Night Fights, the Proud Bird. And it was like you two were just dominating. It was always a lot of genuinely really cool memories. And just in a moment of recollection, because we've been doing this stuff for so long, it's hard to remember everything. I went back and just typed in my name and fLoE and found all the different times I was fighting him online when we were just like training out matches in Marvel 3 and Street Fighter Cross Tekken 10 plus years ago. So I got to give him a huge shout out, just because he was a huge propagator of variety FGC content, and those Boshi / I want to be the guy streams he did was some of the first stuff that like inspired me. It's like, oh, you can do this. Like you can actually have a career just outside of just like grinding fighting games, right? There's a way for a personality driven person, a funny guy like fLoE to have a huge audience in this way. And, you know, it's really sad. So I'd like to say a huge thanks to fLoE, and a huge thanks to Justin for at least taking the time and going out and having that be the thing it was.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, I just want to also just say one more thing. Just give a big shout out to everybody who really just was on social media, and when they just heard the news, everyone was just so sad, and they really showed so much love of fLoE, of just like all the times that they met him, the type of streams and the content, because the craziest thing was that their family, fLoE's family, doesn't know anything about fLoE. They only know Ari. So when they finally saw that fLoE and all the news that people are like really sad about losing him, even the rabbi was texting the family saying like, I can't believe how much of an influence he was to the whole world. And that's how you know like he meant a lot to a lot of people. So really big shout outs to all of you. And the only thing that fLoE would want for you guys moving forward is keep playing fighting games, keep playing what you like, and hopefully, you know, like you guys really just keep remembering him, because he's in Las Vegas. I probably would see him like every year or anytime I'm in Vegas to go see him. So he's really close by. So that's kind of also why the family wanted to have him in Las Vegas, to maybe because Evo's Evo, and if people wanted to go see him, pay some respects, you guys are able to do so.